Hi people, it's Archivist here with another vlog video, and today I would like to talk about the supposed link between video game violence and real world aggression. So today I was going over the web and I found this article on the BBC website that had a study where they wanted to find a link between video game violence and aggression. But they didn't do it the normal way, they went for a slightly different take, and I think it was a far more intelligent take in my opinion. Instead of trying to find a direct correlation between actual violence in a game and therefore being aggressive in real life, they instead went for another way of finding where the aggression could potentially come from. So instead they set up a study with Half-Life 2, and there were, I believe, two different versions of this study, and the first one was designed to see if incompetent controls could lead to aggression. So they had one version of Half-Life 2 with the normal controls, and then another version of Half-Life 2 with some counterintuitive controls. As you might expect, the people who were playing with the counterintuitive controls were far more likely to show signs of aggression. And then there was another two sets of Half-Life 2, one was a violent version and another was a non-violent version. Basically they just made it so you could tag enemies and they would kind of just evaporate, so there wasn't any displays of blood or shooting guns. And there wasn't much of a difference there. So what they found from this was the real cause of aggression isn't violence, it's just simply if a game is poorly made. And by extension, if a game is too hard for a gamer to overcome, that can also lead to aggression. So I can imagine from that, Dark Souls 2 is probably one of the leading games that causes aggression. And I would definitely agree with this, so I'll give some personal examples to help bolster this particular study. So when I've been playing Grand Theft Auto 5 and Diablo 3, which is sort of violent, I've never felt any aggression from simply playing it. If I shoot someone, if I'm trying to really analyse what my brain is doing, to be honest, I'm a bit brain dead. I'm not really paying too much attention. In fact, I've never really got much of a rush out of just shooting people for the fun of it in GTA. I do like to stick to objectives and really enjoy driving the cars in it. I've never, by being violent in the game, felt as if I feel aggressive internally and want to take it out on someone. But in those times where you've been playing a particularly difficult mission in GTA, yes, I have felt aggressive. I have felt as if, I kind of want to take it out on someone. I haven't done, luckily. Perhaps an even better example than GTA though would be Mortal Kombat. In the story mission, it's actually quite difficult at times. There was some missions where you had to take on two enemies at once, and I found that very challenging. And obviously Mortal Kombat is very well known for its violence, especially in the fatalities. Now, for the story mode, I did feel genuine moments of aggression because I was basically getting owned a lot. I was getting destroyed by some of these boss fights. But whenever I was performing a fatality, I never felt aggressive, no. Happy? Yes. Triumph? Yes. All good emotions. Nothing negative could have come of it. And I'm not going to go outside and try and cut someone in half with a hat. Although one criticism I would bring up about this study is it can be technically applied to anything, because what they've said is a frustrating situation causes aggression, and we're all familiar with that. They've used things like if a situation is too difficult, if the controls are wrong, that's going to annoy you. But couldn't that happen in other areas? Maybe, I don't know, you're in a traffic jam and you've stalled. That's going to annoy you. If you've got a software program open, maybe Word shuts down for no reason, that's going to frustrate you. They've basically just said something very obvious. Frustration leads to aggression. As a gamer, my knee-jerk reaction to this was to dismiss it like I usually do with these sorts of articles, but think about it for a second. What's the worst thing that could come of this article being on the internet, being out there? Well, there has to be a standard of quality enforced on games, because now there's definitely a link between real world aggression and an incompetently made game. So they'll say, well, we don't think your controls are made very well, this could lead to aggression in your player base, therefore real world repercussions. So if anything, we'll just get better quality games out of this, so don't feel at all threatened or anything like that. We can only win in this situation. So I will now end this video. As always people, thanks very much for watching and see you next time. Subscribe to the Archivist 42 channel for gaming top 5s, reviews and more.